Hey everybody, how's it going? Daryl here. Today I'll be reviewing, unboxing, and demoing this Aero Spot 60 from JMAZ. It is a battery operated wireless DMX moving head spot. Look at that. Absolutely no wires. I feel like a magician. That is absolutely wild. I am so excited to be using this light. I mean, all of the lights in my arsenal, my uplights and my tubes, they're battery operated and wireless. And now I'll have a mover to match them. Before I get into the video, I just want to talk a little bit about battery operated movers in general and why I chose this specific model. And so when I went to MEX, I noticed that a lot of people were trying to get rid of these out of their inventory. These have just not been very popular, which puzzles me because I think that adds a whole new level of convenience. And I mean, that's just a reality of being a mobile DJ, is that sometimes we're put in situations where we have to deliver a production and we have to do it quickly. Like a common scenario is like the room is having the ceremony and we don't want to have all of our lights displayed. So we tuck them in the corner or in a different room. And then during the room flip, we have to bring everything out. The more things we can do to like streamline our process will just make our lives easier so that we can put our focus for other areas. And also, lots of times I put my moving heads where it's like convenient, like next to an outlet or next to my DJ setup. This is completely like cable free. I can put this like more optimized towards the dance floor experience than just worrying about like how convenient it is to plug in. I know some people call that lazy, but that's just a reality of being a mobile DJ sometimes. And a lot of people have had like a hard time with the price because these are not the cheapest moving heads on the market. And I'll have a link in the description below so that you can look at these yourself. I know a lot of DJs, the logic is like, this thing is 60 watts. You can buy a more powerful mover for cheaper, which is true. But I mean, brightness isn't the most important thing in my opinion when trying to pick out a light. Because a lot of the times, a lot of these high-powered movers are too bright and you're having to dim it anyways. Especially for like small venues, small ballrooms. And a large portion of the time, we can't even use haze. So I like to think of it like cars. Let's just pick an arbitrary number, 40,000. That's a pretty generous allotment. You can get a really nice car still for $40,000. Let's say you're considering a minivan. And then someone is like, why would you get a minivan? You can buy a much faster car than this minivan for $40,000. Which is kind of silly because it's like, well, that's true. I could buy a faster car. I could buy like a really nice Camaro or a Mustang or even a Tesla. There's like more things to consider than just the speed of the car. Because if you have like a family with like 4 kids, I mean, buying like a Camaro doesn't make any sense, right? The minivan makes sense because you need to transport your family. So it's not as fast, but it does the job you need to do better. That's kind of how I feel about like these battery powered movers. Like it's not the brightest, but you know, for mobile gigs, I feel like it's bright enough. I've reviewed a ton of movers. I think I've reviewed 12 now on this channel. I'm releasing a shootout later. And even though I've tried out so many movers and even some really bright and powerful ones, like a 60 watt mover has been like my favorite to use at gigs because of its compact size. So it just feels like a no-brainer for me to use this because it's 60 watts, which I think is powerful enough for most weddings. And the layer of convenience will just make my life a lot easier, and I'll be able to position this in a way that's more optimized for the dancing experience easier. And if you're wanting a battery-powered mover, there's only really 2 options that are targeted towards mobile DJs. You have this Aero Spot one from JMAZ, which they also have a beam and a wash, but I like spots the most out of all 3 of those moving head options. And you have like the Chauvet Free Spot ILS. I wanted to get the Chauvet one because Chauvet movers have been my favorite throughout my career, but to control it wirelessly, you have to have DeFi. And I know you're saying I could just plug in a Donner dongle in the back of it and be done. But that just kind of defeats the whole purpose of convenience, right? I'm having to do like an extra step because these things aren't cheap. And so if I'm going to be spending this kind of money, I wanted to make it as convenient as possible. And this JMAZ one, you can control with normal wireless DMX. So all of your both lighting tubes, all of your both lighting uplights, and this mover can all be controlled with the same wireless DMX transmitter. I don't want to have 2 transmitters. And I know some people have been saying like, these are so expensive, I can't wait for like a Chinese manufacturer to pick these up. So I actually did find a Chinese manufacturer that makes battery powered movers, very similar to these. And they were wanting close to $600 per order of 50. So when you look at the price of these, that's not a huge profit margin. I don't think we're gonna be seeing a $300 battery powered mover anytime soon. Never say never, but as of today, I just don't see that being a reality. All right, that's pretty much the whole video. That's a lot of like talking about stuff. That could almost be its own video. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and unbox this thing. This is the outer shipment box. Inside is your retail box. Here's the retail box. Okay, right in the box, you have your manual, which you can find online. You have your PowerCon power cable, a DMX cable, as well as an RF remote. You have some Omega quick lock brackets, and we have our nicely packaged mover. Let's get it out. And here we have our battery powered mover. All right, this thing is pretty compact. It's 15 inches tall. From handle to handle, it's about 15 inches wide and 8.7 inches deep. It's pretty heavy at 30 pounds, but this is not unnormal for moving headlights to be 30 pounds. Like I said, it has built-in wireless DMX, battery operated. JMAZ makes the claim that the battery lasts for 8 to 12 hours, and they say it takes 5.5 hours to charge fully. The pan angle is 630 degrees. Looks accurate. And the tilt angle is the full 270, making this ideal for totems. It features a 60-watt light source, and the beam angle is 12 degrees. It has 7 gobos plus the open one, as well as a 3-faceted prism. Take a closer look. So yeah, this is what the mover looks like. You have the name right there, Aero Spot 60. All sorts of like vents and ports for cooling. There's your JMAZ branding. Like mentioned, it has a couple of handles. Really nice when you want to strap this down to a totem or pick it up. On the front right here, you have a 4-button LCD panel. On the bottom, you have these low-profile rubber feet, as well as the battery. You can kind of see how it's housed. The bottom right here, we have DMX in and out, an on and off switch, which I love. PowerCon in, but not out. And it has like this power in. They sell this external battery, which you can purchase separately. So if you have like a longer gig, you can plug it into a battery, or you can just plug it into the wall socket, wall plugged in. And there's also some controls to control the wireless DMX. So for this mover to charge it, or just to run it on power, you plug it in. It's a normal PowerCon cable. There we go. When it is plugged in, nothing happens on the screen. You have to turn on the power button, and then you have the option of just charging it, or you can charge and use. So it does a motor reset ritual. You just have to be patient and wait for that. Okay, let's go over the menu options. So you have various sub menus when you get into the menu. So you have to click enter to enter one. So now we can like adjust the DMX address, choose between 11 or 13 channel mode, adjust the auto run settings, or adjust the sound active settings. So let's go to menu to change this sub menu. So you can do factory resets, you can do a signal set, adjust the pan and tilt and the UI set. Let's go into here. I don't want to factory reset it, so we'll skip that. And so in here, I can choose between wired DMX, wireless DMX, or the proprietary like JMAZ. So I want wireless DMX. Same stuff I use with my Donner dongles. And I can adjust like the pan and tilt settings. We'll just leave them the defaults right now. Can adjust the UI. So the UI settings adjust more than just the actual UI of this LCD panel. So I can adjust like the sound active for microphone. I can adjust the signal mode. I can do startup savings. And I can enable or disable the RF remote, which we'll just keep on for now, but I'll probably end up turning that off. And so it gives me diagnostics of like the temperature as well as like the software version. And I can like do a reset, you can do a calibration. Also note, when you just do just charging mode, it will just charge and it doesn't tell you like how full it is. And it asks you if you want to switch to use the equipment while charging. So we're just gonna leave it in this menu while it charges for now. I don't know if you can hear that, but the fan is on while it is charging. Probably some safety mechanism. So I'm going to go ahead and do a demo, but before I do, I just wanted to share something that was a little bit tricky to set up, and I didn't see any other videos on the internet explaining how to do this, but it is in JMAZ's manual. So I have a sound switch on my computer, I have my wireless DMX transmitter connected to my sound switch USB dongle, and I'm going to connect it to this light. JMAZ has like their own proprietary like wireless DMX transmitter, but I just want to use what I already have. Okay, the menu blinks, that's normal. So go ahead and click menu. And then, of course, you have to choose your DMX address, which I already have that set. So go to signal set, and then you have to choose wireless DMX. And you click enter, and that's all you need to do with this menu. Then on the back here, you see that it's a solid red. That means it's not transmitting. And all right, so for this next part, I'm going to turn it off, and while it is off, hold down the select button, turn it on, and this LED will be white. So release it, and now we are in setup mode. So you can choose red, green, blue, or yellow. So those are like different protocols. I don't know, red is the JMAZ and yellow is for normal DMX, which is what I want. So hit select for a couple of seconds. Then it's white, meaning it worked. And then there we go. See, now it is turning green. It's flashing green, and now as you can see, it is blinking green on the back of the unit. Thank you for not putting it on the front, JMAZ. And it is working. One of the quirks of this light is that right out of the box, the pan is inverted in relation to all my other movers, like literally every single one. So in the menu, I'm going to go ahead and invert the pan. All right, what do I think about this moving head spot? I think this is a nice moving head spot as far as like core functionality. Like, I like the gobos, I like the prism. I think that the build quality is that it's like a polished, really nice product, and it should be for this price. As far as like the brightness, yeah, I think this is comparable to other 60-watt movers that I've used, and yeah, I'm really excited to be using these guys. I think that the real convenience factor will be determined after doing gigs. I've brought movers to so many different gigs throughout the years, so I know how much of a pain they can be, so this alleviates like most of my pain points. So yeah, I'm really excited to use these. I guess reliability will be a test of time as well. And look, I get it, like they might not be for everybody. You can buy more powerful movers for less money. I think that these are bright enough for most of the types of gigs I do. But overall, I think that these are worth the money, and I'm surprised that more DJs don't embrace them. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and please smash like and subscribe. And I'll have a link to these down in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video.